The airport feels like it is collapsing under its own noise. Gate 14 is overflowing. Delayed flights, exhausted passengers, angry voices bouncing off the walls like pressure building inside a sealed room. Suitcases crash, babies cry, boarding announcements repeat endlessly, and nobody is calm anymore. Everyone is rushing somewhere, except one woman, Evelyn Carter. She sits alone on a cold metal bench, holding a small worn handbag tightly against her chest. Her clothes are simple, carefully neat, but clearly old. Her posture is straight, but her hands betray a slight tremble, not from fear but from age and exhaustion. Her eyes move slowly across the chaotic terminal, observing everything, saying nothing. To everyone passing by, she is invisible, and worse, she is a problem. A man dragging a suitcase slows down, stares at her, then mutters under his breath, "Why is she just sitting there like she owns the place?" A young woman pulls her bag closer and whispers, "She looks lost. Someone should move her." Another passenger scoffs. These old people always cause issues in airports. Laughter follows. Not loud, just enough to sting. Evelyn hears every word, but she does not react, because she has learned something painful over the years. Silence often protects what dignity cannot. Still, something about her feels different. She is not confused. She is not panicked. She is waiting, like someone who understands time in a deeper way than anyone around her. A flight delay announcement echoes again. Groans erupt across the crowd. Frustration spreads quickly, and in that frustration, people begin looking for targets. Evelyn becomes the easiest one. Then the atmosphere changes. Heels strike the floor sharply. A woman appears, Supervisor Denise Cole. Her presence alone shifts the energy. She walks like she owns the entire airport, her face tight with irritation, her eyes scanning for anything she can correct, punish, or remove. And then she sees Evelyn. Her expression hardens instantly. "Why is that woman still sitting there?" Denise snaps, without even lowering her voice. A junior staff member hesitates. She's just waiting, Mom." Denise turns sharply. "Waiting for what? A miracle? Look at this place." She is disturbing order. Her tone is not confusion. It is disgust. "Handle it," she orders coldly. "I don't want distractions here." The staff shift uncomfortably. No one wants to disobey her. Denise is known for destroying work schedules, cutting hours and humiliating staff publicly, so they obey. Slowly, reluctantly, a male attendant approaches Evelyn. "Mom," he says carefully, "you may need to relocate to another seating area." Evelyn looks up at him. Her voice is soft. "I am waiting for my boarding time." The attendant looks away immediately, as if her words make him uncomfortable. From a distance, Denise scoffs. Unbelievable. Passengers begin watching now. Phones come out, not to help, but to record. Entertainment replaces empathy. Evelyn remains still. Then Grace Williams enters the frame. She is a young cleaner, slightly out of breath, carrying cleaning supplies. She should not be paying attention. She should be invisible like the rest of the maintenance staff. But she sees Evelyn, really sees her, not as a problem, not as an inconvenience, but as someone who looks painfully alone. Grace hesitates, then walks over. "Mum," she says gently, "have you had any water?" Evelyn studies her face for a moment. Something in Grace's voice feels safe. "No," Evelyn replies quietly. Grace nods once, then walks away. Within minutes, she returns with a bottle of water and carefully brings an extra chair closer. "Please sit properly," Grace says softly. "It's more comfortable this way." A faint pause hangs in the air, and then Evelyn sits. It is such a small moment, but everything changes. Passengers notice. Whispers spread. Denise notices, too. Her face tightens with rage. "What do you think you're doing?" she snaps at Grace. Grace straightens immediately. She was uncomfortable. Denise steps closer. "You are a cleaner, not a humanitarian organization. Your job is to clean, not interfere." The words are sharp enough to cut through the crowd. Grace swallows hard, but does not move away from Evelyn. "I can't ignore her," Grace says quietly. That sentence lands like a spark in dry grass. Denise's eyes darken. "You will regret this decision," she warns. And now the entire gate is watching. No one intervenes. No one defends Grace. Even Evelyn remains silent, but her eyes shift slightly, as if she recognizes something deeper forming beneath the surface of this moment, something no one else can see. Because what they don't know is this: Evelyn Carter did not come to this airport by accident. And somewhere in this world, a powerful man is already preparing for the moment her name is spoken out loud. A man who built entire empires from decisions like this, her son. But that truth is still hidden, for now. And at Gate 14, the storm has only just begun to gather. Gate 14 is no longer just a waiting area. It has become a stage. and Grace Williams is now standing at the center of it. Without even realizing she has stepped into danger, Denise Cole circles the scene like a predator who has already decided the outcome. "You are seriously risking your job over this?" Denise says sharply, her voice loud enough for nearby passengers to hear. "Over a random woman who clearly doesn't even know where she is?" Grace keeps her eyes steady. She knows exactly where she is. A few passengers exchange confused looks. Evelyn Carter remains silent, but her silence is not emptiness. It feels intentional, like she is listening to everything, storing every detail. Denise laughs coldly. "This is what I hate about young staff. Emotional thinking. No discipline." She turns to the cleaner again. "Put the chair back, remove the water, and step away from her immediately." Grace hesitates. That hesitation is enough. Denise snaps her fingers. Now, for a brief moment, Grace looks like she might obey, but then something changes. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet internal decision. She stays. A ripple of shock moves through nearby passengers. Someone whispers, "She's going to get fired." Denise hears it and smiles. "You're finished," she says softly. "I will make sure you never work in any airport facility again." Grace's hands tighten slightly, but she does not step back. And then a new voice interrupts. Enough. It is calm, controlled, firm. All heads turn. Evelyn Carter has spoken. For the first time, her voice carries weight. Not loudness, but authority that does not need permission. Denise scoffs immediately. "Excuse me?" Evelyn looks directly at her. "You are creating unnecessary humiliation." A pause. Then Denise laughs again, louder this time. "Humiliation. Do you know where you are sitting? Do you know who you are talking to?" Evelyn does not react. But Grace notices something strange. For a split second, Evelyn's eyes shift, not fearfully, but thoughtfully. Like she is observing Denise more than responding to her. Then Evelyn quietly asks, "What is your name?" Denise hesitates. Caught off guard, Denise Cole, senior supervisor. Evelyn nods slowly, as if confirming something in her mind. Then Miss Cole. Evelyn says gently, "You have forgotten something important about leadership." The word leadership lands heavily. Denise's face tightens. "Don't lecture me." But Evelyn continues anyway. "People are not problems to be removed. They are situations to be understood." The silence that follows is sharp. Passengers stop whispering. Even airport staff pause their movements. Grace feels it too, that shift in atmosphere, like pressure dropping before a storm breaks. Denise's patience snaps. "You are causing disruption," she says loudly. "And I am done entertaining this." She gestures to security. "Remove her. Both of them if necessary." That is when everything changes again. A man in a dark suit appears at the edge of the crowd. Not airport security. Not staff. Someone else. He is observing quietly, holding a phone in his hand, his expression unreadable. He has been standing there longer than anyone noticed. He whispers into the phone, "Sir, I think you need to see this." Back at gate 14, Grace notices him. But before she can question it, Evelyn gently touches Grace's hand. A small gesture, almost invisible, but intentional. Grace leans slightly closer, and Evelyn speaks in a lower voice, only meant for her. "You are kind," she says. "But kindness alone is not what will protect you next." Grace frowns slightly. "What do you mean?" Evelyn pauses. Then she adds softly, "Because this situation is already bigger than this airport." Before Grace can respond, Denise steps forward again, furious now. "Enough whispering. You think you are special? You think you can disrupt my authority and walk away from it?" She points at Grace. "You will be written up, suspended, and replaced." Grace finally looks shaken. Passengers begin murmuring again, this time not amused but uncomfortable. But Evelyn remains calm, too calm, and that is when Denise makes her biggest mistake. She leans closer to Evelyn and says quietly but venomously, "You should learn your place. Old women like you always think someone will save them." A pause. The entire gate goes silent, because Evelyn does not respond immediately. Instead, she slowly opens her worn handbag. Grace watches closely. So does Denise. Evelyn removes something small, a simple phone, old design, unassuming. Denise rolls her eyes. "What now? You're going to call someone?" Evelyn looks at her for a long moment, and then says something that changes the air completely. "No," she replies softly. "I am going to let them see you." Grace doesn't understand. Denise doesn't care. But somewhere outside gate 14, a single message has already been sent. And across the city, in a private office far from the chaos of the airport, a man's phone begins to ring. He looks at the screen, and his expression changes instantly, because the name displayed is one he has not seen in public for years. Mother. The hidden truth has just begun to surface, and nothing at gate 14 will ever be the same again. Gate 14 feels different now, not louder, heavier, like something invisible has entered the room and everyone is breathing inside it without knowing why. Denise Cole still stands in control, or at least she believes she does. But something about the way Evelyn Carter is sitting has changed. She is no longer just an old woman waiting. She is now the center of attention, without doing anything at all. Grace Williams notices it first. Evelyn is calm, too calm. Her fingers rest lightly on the phone she just revealed, but she does not press anything else. She simply waits. Denise, on the other hand, is escalating. "This is your final warning," Denise says sharply, pointing at Grace. "Step away from her right now or I will have you escorted out of this terminal." Grace's voice trembles slightly. She hasn't done anything wrong. Denise laughs bitterly. "You really think this is about her?" She steps closer, lowering her voice. "This is about obedience. If you cannot follow simple instructions, you do not belong here." Passengers begin to whisper again. Some shake their heads. Others continue recording, sensing something is building. And then Denise turns her attention fully back to Evelyn. "You," she says coldly, "put that phone away. You are not calling anyone in my airport." Evelyn finally looks up. Her eyes are steady, not emotional, not defensive, observing, like she is measuring Denise's character piece by piece. "I am not calling anyone," Evelyn repeats softly. Denise scoffs. "Then what are you doing?" Evelyn replies simply, "I am confirming something." That sentence confuses everyone, even Grace. But Denise misinterprets it as weakness. "Enough games," she snaps. "Security, remove them." Two security guards step forward. The situation shifts instantly. Grace takes a step back, her heart racing. This is no longer just a verbal confrontation. This is physical removal. Her job, her income, everything is suddenly on the line. Denise smiles faintly. "Finally," she mutters. "Order restored." But Evelyn does not panic. Instead, she slowly places the phone face down on the bench. And that is when the first strike begins. A notification sound echoes from Denise's supervisor tablet. Then another. Then another. Denise frowns. "What is this?" A junior staff member rushes toward her. "You need to check the internal system." Denise snaps. "Not now." But the staff member insists, voice shaking. "Mom, all executive airport communications just got flagged. There is a live authorization alert linked to Gate 14. Denise freezes. "What are you talking about?" Before anyone can answer, a voice suddenly comes through the overhead communication system. Not the usual airport announcement voice. This one is different, calm, formal, powerful. "Attention all staff at Terminal 3, Gate 14. Every head turns upward. Even Denise. The voice continues. "This is an executive directive. All actions concerning passenger Evelyn Carter are to be suspended immediately pending direct review." Silence crashes across the gate. Denise goes pale for the first time. "That's not possible," she whispers. "Only top-level executives can override." Then her tablet vibrates violently in her hand. A new message appears. "Access revoked. Supervisor authority suspended." Denise steps backward instinctively. "No, no, this is a mistake." Grace stares in shock. Even the security guards hesitate now. Because authority has just shifted in real time, and no one knows why. Evelyn slowly picks up her phone again. Still calm, still silent. But now people are looking at her differently. Denise turns sharply. "What did you do?" She demands at Evelyn. "Who are you connected to?" Evelyn does not answer immediately. Instead, she glances at Grace for a brief moment. A quiet acknowledgement. Then she speaks. "I did not do anything," she says. A pause. Then she adds, "My son did." The words land like a shockwave. Grace's eyes widen slightly. Denise freezes. "Your son?" Evelyn nods once. And for the first time, there is something heavier in her voice. "He owns this airport." Gasps spread through the crowd. Denise shakes her head rapidly. "That's impossible. There is no CEO intervention protocol without clearance." But before she can finish, the entire terminal lights flicker, then stabilize. Then a new sound echoes through the space. Footsteps, controlled, fast, approaching. People turn toward the entrance of Gate 14. A group of high-level executives and security personnel are moving in formation, and at the center of them, a man steps forward. Tall, calm, dangerous in his silence, he looks directly at Evelyn and says one word, "Mom." Denise's world begins to collapse in real time. But just as the truth fully arrives, the system emits another alert. This time, different, critical. Emergency internal review triggered. Incident escalation locked, and suddenly, what looked like victory turns into something far more dangerous. Because someone else inside the system is not happy about this intervention, and Gate 14 is about to face consequences no one saw coming. The moment Victor Hale steps into Gate 14, the entire atmosphere changes again, but not in the way anyone expects. It does not feel like relief. It feels like pressure, like the room just became smaller. He stands still for a moment, eyes locked on his mother, Evelyn Carter. No words, no movement, just recognition that carries years of distance, worry, and unspoken fear. Then his gaze shifts. To Drace, to Denise, to the frozen crowd still holding phones like they are witnessing something unreal. "Mom," Victor says again, softer this time. Evelyn finally exhales, barely noticeable, but it breaks something inside the tension. "I'm fine," she says quietly. But Victor doesn't look convinced, because he sees everything. The water bottle on the bench, the extra chair placed carefully beside her, the way Grace is still standing slightly in front of her, as if protecting her without even realizing it. And then he sees Denise Cole. His expression changes. Not anger yet, just calculation. Denise, meanwhile, is breaking internally. Her authority is gone. Her confidence is gone. But survival instinct is still active. "Sir," she says quickly, stepping forward, "there has been a misunderstanding. This situation was handled according to protocol. That woman," she gestures toward Evelyn, "was causing disruption." Victor does not respond immediately. He walks past Denise, like she is not important enough to interrupt his focus. He crouches slightly in front of Evelyn. "Did anyone hurt you?" he asks gently. Evelyn shakes her head. "No." A pause. Then she adds, "But they tried to remove a girl who helped me." Victor slowly stands. His eyes shift to Grace. Grace suddenly feels exposed under his gaze. "I didn't do anything special," she says quickly. "She just needed water." Victor nods once. "That," he says quietly, "is exactly why it matters." Denise tries again, voice sharper now. "Sir, I can explain everything." But Victor finally turns to her and stops her with a single look. No shouting, no threats. Just silence that feels like judgment. "Explain," he repeats softly. Denise straightens. "Yes, there are procedures. Staff discipline. She interfered with airport operations." Victor interrupts. "What operations?" Denise hesitates. And that hesitation is the first crack, because she realizes something terrifying. She is no longer speaking to a supervisor chain. She is speaking to the owner. Victor steps closer. "Let me understand this clearly," he says calmly. "My mother is sitting in an airport I built, and your concerns is that she was disturbing the environment." Denise swallows hard. "She was sitting in a restricted area." Victor raises a hand slightly, and she stops talking. Not because she wants to, because she has to. The silence becomes unbearable. Even passengers stop breathing loudly. Then suddenly, a second wave of alert notifications erupts across staff, devices, but this time, something is wrong, very wrong. Victor's assistant rushes in, panic on his face. "Sir, there is an internal escalation order already active." Victor frowns. "From who?" The assistant hesitates. "Board Oversight Committee." The words shift the entire energy. Denise's eyes widen slightly. "Because that is not supposed to happen without executive approval." Victor's expression tightens for the first time. "So there is resistance. Someone else is trying to take control of the situation." He turns slightly toward his assistant. "Lock all external communications from this terminal," he says. But before the assistant can respond, the overhead system crackles, and a new voice comes through, cold, controlled, unfamiliar. "This is board authority. Executive interference is unauthorized." Gasps spread. Denise suddenly looks relieved, like she just found air again. Victor slowly straightens. So it has already escalated beyond him. Interesting. The voice continues. "Pending investigation. All executive privileges linked to Victor Hale are temporarily suspended." A shockwave hits the room. Even Victor freezes for half a second. Grace whispers, "Suspended? Him?" Evelyn's eyes narrow slightly, because now she understands something deeper. This is no longer just an airport incident. It is a power struggle, inside his own empire. Denise steps forward quickly, sensing opportunity again. "Sir," she says, voice now more confident, "you see, there are protocols above personal sentiment. I was simply enforcing." Victor turns to Hosley, and this time his voice is lower, more dangerous. "You think this is your moment again?" Denise falters. "I'm just following rules." Victor steps closer. "Rules?" he repeats. "You humiliated my mother. You threatened the only person who showed her kindness. And now you are hiding behind rules?" Denise tries to speak again, but no words come out, because something is changing in real time. Security officers begin receiving conflicting commands on their earpieces. Say, "Stand down." Others say, "Detain." The system is splitting, and then the worst possible thing happens. Grace suddenly gets a notification on her work device. Her hands shake as she reads it. Her face drains of color. Victor notices instantly. "What is it?" he asks. Grace whispers, barely audible. "I've been terminated." Silence. Denise exhales sharply, almost satisfied. But Victor's eyes darken, because this is no longer just about his mother. It is now about injustice inside his own system. Evelyn slowly stands for the first time and says something softly that shifts everything again. "This is bigger than me now." Victor looks at her, and she continues. "If you don't fix what is happening here, it won't matter that I'm your mother." A pause. Because for the first time, Victor realizes something terrifying. He might be losing control of his own empire, and somewhere inside the system, the board is still pushing forward, and Gate 14 is about to collapse into chaos. Gate 14 is no longer chaotic. It is silent. The kind of silence that happens when power shifts so completely that everyone is waiting to see who survives it. Victor Hale stands at the center of it all, no longer just a son or a CEO, but a man staring directly at the cracks inside his own system. Evelyn Carter remains beside the bench, calm as ever, but now people are looking at her differently, not as trod as a burden, not as a stranger, as the beginning of something that exposed everything. Grace Williams stands slightly behind, still shaken, still processing the fact that she has been terminated, and yet somehow still here. Denise Cole, on the other hand, is no longer confident. Her authority is gone. Her voice is smaller now, but she still tries one last time. "Sir, I was only maintaining order," she says weakly. Victor turns to her slowly. "Order," he repeats. A pause. Then he gestures around Gate 14. "This is what you call order." He looks at the passengers who recorded everything, at the staff who stayed silent, at the system that chose power over humanity. Then his gaze returns to Denise. "You humiliated an elderly woman. You punished kindness. You abused authority in front of hundreds of witnesses." Denise tries to respond, but no one is backing her anymore. Not even the system, because the board's earlier interference has been quietly overridden by Victor's emergency executive reversal. Something most people don't realize has already happened in the background. Victor continues, voice steady. "You didn't just fail a passenger," he says. "You failed the values this airport is built on." He raises his hand slightly. Two executive security officers step forward. Denise finally breaks. "No, please, I have worked here for years. I followed procedure." Victor doesn't even raise his voice. "And that," he says quietly, "is the problem." A nod, and Denise is escorted away. No dramatic struggle, no shouting, just removal. The reality of consequence. Silence returns again. But this time, it feels different. Cleaner. Grace looks down at her hands, still confused. "So, I just lost my job for helping someone?" Victor hears her immediately. He turns. "No," he says firmly, and then something unexpected happens. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out a phone, and speaks into it. "Reinstate Grace Williams, immediately." Grace freezes. Denise pauses mid-escort. Even Evelyn looks slightly surprised. Victor continues, "And double her position, effective today." Grace's eyes widen. "What?" Victor looks directly at her. "You didn't lose your job for helping someone." He says, "You lost it because a broken system punished you for doing the right thing." A pause. Then he adds, "That system is being rebuilt." A ripple moves through the crowd. People start murmuring again. But now it is different. Not gossip. Not judgment. Recognition. Evelyn steps forward slightly. "Victor," she says softly. He turns to her immediately. She looks at him for a long moment, then says, "You fixed this, but don't forget why it happened." That line lands deeper than any punishment. Victor nods slowly. "I won't." He turns toward the staff and passengers, and for the first time, he speaks not as a CEO managing damage, but as someone acknowledging truth. "From today," he says, "any act of discrimination, humiliation, or abuse of authority in any of my airports will be treated as a direct violation of leadership ethics." He pauses, and will result in immediate removal. The message is clear. No ambiguity. No protection for bad behavior anymore. Then he looks at Evelyn again, and something softer returns to his face. "I'm sorry I wasn't here sooner," he says quietly. Evelyn smiles faintly. "You're here now," she replies. Grace steps forward carefully. "I didn't do anything special," she says, emotional now. Evelyn turns to her. "Yes," she says gently, "you did." A moment passes, and then something full circle happens. Evelyn takes Grace's hand and places something small into it, a folded card. Grace opens it slowly. It is a private recommendation letter, signed personally. Victor's eyes soften when he sees it, because he understands immediately. This is not just gratitude. It is legacy being passed forward. Evelyn speaks quietly. Kindness should never cost someone their future. Denise is now gone. The board's resistance has collapsed under full executive override and public exposure, and Gate 14 finally breathes again. Later, as passengers begin to board and the terminal returns to movement, something unusual happens. People are quieter, more thoughtful, less rushed, as if something in them has been corrected without permission. Grace stands near the exit, no longer invisible. Evelyn walks slowly beside Victor, and before leaving, she looks once more at the place where everything changed. Gate 14, a place that once exposed cruelty and ended up exposing truth. Victor breaks the silence. "Come home with me," he says softly to his mother. Evelyn nods, but before they leave, she looks back at Grace one last time and smiles, because she knows something simple. That one act of kindness changed everything. And as they walk away together, Victor's final words echo quietly. This airport will never treat people the same again, and it doesn't just stay a promise. It becomes the beginning of a new standard, a new system, and a reminder that even in the most powerful places, character is still the highest authority. Thank you for taking this incredible journey. If this story moved you, hit that subscribe button, and let me know in the comments what part touched you the most.